Hi, welcome to your practice. So today we'll start lying down, and it will be easier if your head faces towards the screen to start. It will just be a little bit less moving around for you. So we'll start lying down. If you have a super sticky mat, you might consider putting a blanket over it or going right on the floor. Taking a moment when you arrive to notice your state. The mind probably wants to stay here nonstop, which is okay. So we'll start off a little bit slowly. Reaching out the left heel, flexing the left foot, and on exhale, letting it slide back in. So you're lying on the ground, you're reaching out one foot at a time, matching your breath. And the foot's not going to move very much. If you want to feel that you're doing something, bring your hands to your hip points. And as you reach out one heel and then the other, you'll notice some shifting in the pelvis. Starting to loosen up that energy. The next time you reach out your right foot will be the last. When you come back into center, releasing and noticing any sensations from that movement. Starting to stir ourselves from the inside, bringing the arms to goalpost. And as you're ready, you'll lengthen out your left arm, turning the palm in towards the midline, reaching it overhead. On your exhale, it comes back. On your inhale, the right arm lengthens, or turn the palm in towards the midline, and then come back. So you're getting long out one side in the arms, and then the other. Being sure the palm turns face inward will help the shoulder open with a little more ease. If you have further to go, as you reach out the right arm, reach out the right leg as well, the right heel. So you get long through the whole side, and then you watch the recoil. Continuing side to side. And exploring the nuances, the difference in the joints from one side to the other, the spreading out. The next time you reach out, the left side will be your last. When you come back to center, rest for a moment, releasing the arms back to neutral, and noticing the body starting to move from the inside. So more in the legs, in the torso and belly region, or the chest and head and neck region. Where do you feel it most? Bringing the hands behind the head, interlacing them like an old-fashioned sit-up, and we'll keep the legs on the ground and the arms on the ground. And on your inhale, let the left elbow move towards the left hip. On your exhale, you slide back to center. So you're trying to stay on the ground as the right elbow moves towards the right hip, the left elbow towards the wall behind you. On exhale, into center. Continuing side to side. If you have further to go, you can look up at the elbow that's pointing towards the wall behind you. If you have further to go, you can reach out the same foot that you're lengthening the elbow back. So one side of your body gets long, gazing past your elbow. One more time. The next time you reach your right elbow towards your hip, your left elbow towards the sky or wall behind you, you'll come back to center and gently release for a moment. Noticing the tiny shifts of movement, subtle and soft, or maybe throbbing and fast. Simply noticing. Slowly bending the knees with as little disturbance as possible. Roll on over to your belly. Stack hands on top of each other. Elbows out to the side, forehead rested. Tuck the toes underneath. Walk them towards your face. They don't go very far. Engage the quads. And as you inhale, let the skin lengthen as you lift from pubic bone to belly button. On exhale, lower. You can walk the toes in again. Engage the quads. And on your inhale, lifting into cobra, elbows stay in the position. On exhale, lower. A couple more cycles like that. Feeling the length come in the skin from the pubic bone towards the belly button. Letting this area start to lengthen out. The next time you come down, you can rest the feet. Taking 2 or 3 more breaths here. Walking the hands under the shoulders, push yourself up through plank or half plank, and we'll meet in child's pose. So the bottom comes towards the heels, and we'll lengthen forward. Toes can be together, knees can be wide or together, yogi's choice. On your inhale, lift the elbows, lift the wrists, pull into spider fingers. On exhale, palms lower. On inhale, palms lift, wrist lifts, elbows lift. Reach the wrist towards the front of the room. On your exhale, soften. 2 or 3 more times. You can walk the fingers further and notice a longer torso. After your next exhale, walk the hands back in and sit up to any comfortable seated position. I'm going to go for cross-legged. Remember to sit on something if it's hard for you to sit upright. On your inhale, let the arms go up, energy up to the head. On your exhale, arms sweep wide as you twist towards the right. On inhale, energy up, looking up. On your exhale, looking clearly off, straight ahead of you as you twist. On inhale, looking up. On exhale, looking clearly in front of wherever your gaze is. Looking up on inhale. On exhale, twisting. On inhale, you come back to center, looking up. On exhale, hands come down. We'll transition to downward facing dog. On your inhales, onto tippy toes. On your exhale, let your hips soften as your heels move down. Inhale onto tippy toes. On exhale, your hips scoop back and up, getting longer. 1 or 2 more times. And then feeling the length through the arms, the length through the legs. On your next exhale, coming forward into plank or half plank. On inhale, lift from the inner thighs back to dog or half dog. As you come forward, be aware of the soles of the feet, the palms of the hands. On your inhale, lifting back. On your exhale, coming forward into plank, feeling the soles of the feet, the palms of the hands as you lower all the way down. And we'll bring the backs of the hands to the back up to the bottom. On your inhale, lift your right hand straight up and back in your left leg. On your exhale, lower down. On your inhale, your left hand straight back, your right leg lifts. On exhale, lower. Continuing one more time like that, feeling the legs and arms lengthen away. If you have further to go, the next round, the right hand might come palm face down to the side in a T, and then lower, always the back of the hand to the sacrum as you come back. You can continue where you are, or the last round, you can sweep the hand palm face towards the midline forward. Last time. Taking a breath, bring the hands under the shoulders, push yourself up through plank or half plank, downward facing dog. Inhale onto tippy toes. Exhale to bend the knees and step or jump towards the front of the mat. Inhale halfway for length. Exhale to fold. Push through the feet as you rise all the way up to standing. On exhale, back into center. Releasing the hands and setting up in your Shavasana with the feet hips distance. On your inhale, inhale up the back of the spine, up the back of the skull, keeping that lift. On exhale, let everything else descend down into the legs and the feet. On inhale, up the front of the spine, all the way up through the crown of the head. On exhale, everything besides that softens back down. On your inhale, the mental clarity goes all the way up to the center of the spine. On your exhale, everything around that softens back down to the earth. Inhaling the arms up. On exhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Feel free to bring the hands to the waist. We'll do these same movements. Inhaling from the tail all the way up the back of the spine. Keep that internal lift and let everything else soften back down so you feel the feet. Inhaling up the front of the spine through the crown, feel the fingertips. On your exhale, everything besides that softens down. Inhaling up the center of the spine, all the way through the crown of the head. On your exhale, everything besides that internal lift softens down so you feel the feet and the hands. On inhale, push to rise. On exhale, forward fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, folds. Left foot back, left knee down to low lunge. Hands can come to waist, sky, or blocks anywhere you'd like. Pull the feet in together for some strength. Reach that strength out the front knee, the back pinky toe. Inhale up the back of the spine all the way through the back of the skull. On exhale, letting everything besides that soften to the earth. Inhaling up the front of the spine all the way into the soft fingertips. On exhale, everything besides that softens. Keep your gaze bright straight ahead as you inhale up the center of the spine all the way through the crown of the head. On exhale, everything else softens down. A breath or so for nothing. Gaze is clear. Soles of the feet and the palms of the hands are lively. On your exhale, hands come down, tuck the back toe, lift the knee. Left hand to the block or the floor, right hand to the waist or the sky as you twist. Inhale up that center axis of the spine, keeping the internal lift long. And on exhale, let everything else soften back down. Gazing up at the top hand, either gazing at it or gazing at the ceiling. And let your mind's eye go to the soles of both feet and the palms of both hands. The internal lift keeps you long so that everything else can soften down and expand out. On the next exhale, float the hand down, stepping forward, forward fold. Inhale halfway, low back goes in and up. Exhale, folds. Push through the feet to rebound all the way up through the crown of the head to the soft fingers, keeping the internal lift as everything else softens down to the earth and you feel the feet. Inhaling the arms back up, growing tall. On exhale, forward fold. As you inhale halfway, lengthen all the way through the spine. On exhale, soften down. Right foot back, right knee down to low lunge. Inhale to rise. Hands can always come to the blocks, thigh, or to the sky or waist. Pulling the feet in towards each other for strength, and then reach out the front knee, the back pinky toe. Several breaths. Inhaling from the tailbone all the way up the back of the spine. Keep that internal lift and everything else soften back down. Inhaling up the front of the spine. On exhale, everything else softens down. Inhaling up the center of the spine, let it go into soft fingers. On exhale, that everything besides that internal lift comes down to the earth. A breath or so for nothing. Let the gaze be clear. Whatever you're looking at, let it come into focus. On the next exhale, hands come down. Tuck the back toe, lift the knee, right hand to the block or the floor. Yogi's choice, twisting towards the front leg. Inhale from the back heel all the way up the center axis of the spine. Keep that internal lift as the exhale lets everything slide back down. Taking a couple breaths here. Being aware of the soles of both feet and the palms of both hands. Your gaze is either clearly at your hand or up at the ceiling, but let it be focused and sharp. On your exhale, float the hand down, stepping forward, forward fold. Inhale halfway for length. Exhale, folds. Push through both feet to rise all the way up. On exhale, as the hands come down, the internal lift keeps going up. As you release the hands, feeling the soles of the feet, the palms of the hands, and the lift of the inner spine. Setting up for tree pose. We'll bend the left knee, turn it out, bringing the foot into tree pose. Hands to the waist, heart centers the strongest, or arms towards the sky. Either your gaze is straight ahead on the wall, so maybe slightly up. If you need to for balance, gently gaze down. As you're ready, inhale up the central axis of the spine, letting the fingertips grow soft. Keep the internal lift and let everything around soften back down to the earth. Let the gaze be clear. Feeling the soles of the feet and the palms of the hands. On your next exhale, hands come down, turn the knee in, step the foot down, right foot back to triangle pose. I'm going to come back a little ways because we'll go into half moon. Be sure that the knees pointing over the toes as you hinge from the left hip crease, hand to the block or the floor. On your inhale, sweep the right hand down near the foot. On your exhale, pull it through the heart, watch it open. On your inhale, lengthen, hand comes down. On your exhale, twist in. One more time. As you inhale through the center axis of the spine, as you pull through the heart with the hand, like if you're pulling on a glove, you expand out. Good. One more time. Inhale up the central axis of the spine. And on exhale, let everything besides that soften down. becoming aware of the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet. On your next exhale, bend the front knee, coming forward into half moon. You can always come from standing if you'd like instead for transition. Taking a few breaths here and really reaching the hands out, reaching through both feet, feeling that expansion. To come out of the pose, you'll inhale up the central axis of the spine, keeping that long as you bend the front knee and lower down into triangle. It might meet you with less gravity than normal. On exhale, hand floats down, stepping the foot forward, forward fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, folds. Push your both feet to rise all the way up. On exhale, keep the internal lift going up as everything else weights down into the feet. Setting up for triangle on the opposite side. Bending the right knee, turning it out, bringing the foot anywhere you'd like for tree pose. If it's on the knee, just push knee into foot, foot into knee strongly. Hands at heart center is the strongest for most, or arms can be overhead. Inhaling up that central axis of the spine, keeping that internal lift, the lightness in the palms, as the next exhale lets everything else soften down towards the earth. Let the gaze, whatever you're looking at, be clear. Clear with a soft forehead. Being aware of the soles of both feet, the palms of the hands. Taking another breath cycle here. Slowly bringing the hands back in, turn the knee forward, set the foot down. Right foot back, left foot back, into triangle pose. Let your right knee point over your toes, hinging from the right hip crease, coming into Trikonasana triangle pose. On your next inhale, unravel, bring the top hand near the foot as you go long through the spine. On your exhale, the left hand pulls through the heart and opens, watching it with your gaze. On inhale, let the spine lengthen as the hand comes towards the floor. On exhale, like you're pulling on a long glove, opening through the heart, reaching. One more time with the movement. Staying in the pose, inhaling up the central channel of the spine, keeping that internal lift as everything else softens back down. Gazing at the hand or up at the ceiling, but let whatever you're looking at be clear. Reaching through the hands or reaching through the feet, being aware of the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet. As you're ready, bend the front knee, move the block to the front and outside, coming into half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Your gaze will most likely need to be at the floor. Reach out both arms, reach out both legs, being aware of the soles of the feet and the palms of the hands. On your next inhale, inhale up the central axis of the spine, keeping that internal length as you exhale, bending the knee, coming back into triangle pose. Maybe it came with more lightness. On exhale, cartwheel the hands down, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway for length, low back goes in and up. Exhale, folds down. As you're ready, we'll lower onto the knees and we'll meet for Parigrasana, gate latch pose. Bringing the left foot out to the side, you may want to block handy. Toes can point any direction that feels comfortable to you. On your inhale, bring the arms to the sides, lengthen out, let the left elbow soften towards the floor, towards the leg, right arm overhead. Then inhale up the central axis of the spine, which might take you out of the pose. Keep that internal lift as you let everything else around it soften back down towards the floor and into the legs. One more time. On your next inhale, let the top arm pull you up. Bend that left knee, bring it in. Right foot turns to the left side. You might use a block behind to sit on. So the foot will be high out to the side. Stage 1, the left foot comes to the inside of the leg. Stage 2, to the outside. So my right heel is near my left butt and the block is firmly behind me. Left hand onto the block or the floor. Inhale to grow tall through the central axis of the spine. On your exhale, you let that come out into the twist. On inhale, up the central axis of the spine. On exhale, keep the internal lift as you twist and everything else softens back down. One more breath like that. On your next inhale, unwinding. And it doesn't matter if this doesn't work. It's fun, so it's worth a shot of trying it. You'll bring your hands forward. Push into the feet to straighten the feet. Walk towards the right side of your mat. Rotating the hands and legs around. And then we'll sit down. We'll be on a twist on the other side. Right hand comes behind you, left arm lengthens up. On exhale, twist. On inhale, lengthen through the central axis of the spine to grow tall. On exhale, twist. One more time. Staying in the pose for a breath cycle or two. On your next inhale, slowly unravel, undo the leg, coming back onto hands and knees, or knees, kneeling, for gate latch pose. Bringing the right foot out to the right. If you need a block, have one handy. Opening the arms to a T, reaching towards the right, bend the right elbow, hand to the floor of the block. Top hand to the waist, sky or overhead, palm face down. Inhale up the central axis of the channel, growing tall, so that on your exhale, everything can soften around that down towards the earth. Inhaling up the central axis. On exhale, everything else besides that inner part softens down. Taking another breath here. Letting whatever you're looking at, if you can, look up. Whatever you're looking at, you're gazing at it clearly. On your next inhale, let the top arm pull you up. Turning that knee forward, right knee coming down onto your bottom. And we'll meet lying down on the side, our side on our block, on our mat. You may need a strap. You're going to set up with the ankles, knees, hip, armpit, elbow all in line, ribs. Bend the top knee, turn it up, set the foot behind you. Reach strongly out the bottom heel and the bottom elbow. Inhaling up the central axis of the spine all the way through the crown of the head. On exhale, everything else softens back down. Top foot, left foot comes into tree pose if you have further to go. If you have further, grab onto the big toe with the peace finger and the thumb, and then extend that up towards the sky. If you can, look at it. Being aware of the soles of the feet and the palms of the hands. looking at your foot or at the sky above it. To come out of the pose, bend the knee, set the foot down, turn the knee forward, and then we'll go to the other side. You can simply roll over. I'm going to twist over so that I can see you. Left hand comes under the forehead, and if this is too challenging, the bottom knee can always be bent. To make it more challenging, you stack up in a straight line the ankles, knees, hips, ribs, armpit, elbow. Bending the top knee, turning it up, setting the foot behind you. Inhaling up that central axis of the spine all the way to the crown. On exhale, let everything besides that soften down towards the feet. If you have further to go, the top foot can come into tree pose. You can always bend the bottom knee a little bit to give a little more stability. Reaching out the bottom heel, the bottom elbow. If you have further to go, bend the knee, grab onto the big toe with the peace finger and the thumb. Kicking the leg up. This side is a little wobblier. If you can, look up at the foot. Be aware of the soles of both feet, the palms of both hands, the extension away from your middle. Taking one or two more breaths here. To come out of the pose, bend the knee, whee! Set the foot behind you and come into lying onto your back. We'll hug the knees into the chest, and on your inhale, let the knees move away. On exhale, hug the knees into the chest. On inhale, they move away. One more time like that. Beautiful. Setting the feet down, making them as wide as the sticky mat, about 2 feet from your body, and let both knees knock towards the right at the same time. If you have further to go, interlace the hands, turn the palms inside out, arms overhead. If you have further to go, right ankle over the left knee, flex the right ankle and use the ankle to draw the thigh towards the knee, towards the bottom or top of your mat. Inhale up the central axis of the spine. Keep that inside long and let all the rest of the skin, the bones soften towards the legs. Undoing the right leg back to the floor. Hands come back up to center. Both legs, knees knock to the left. Interlace the hands the awkward way, so the different pointer fingers closer to your face, bringing the arms overhead any amount. If you have further to go, the left ankle comes over the right knee, flex the foot, and draw the thigh towards the knee. So you're getting longer. Inhale up the central axis of the spine, filling the mind with space as you let the physical body soften around that back down towards the legs. So come out of the pose, set the left foot back down, bring the arms back up to neutral, hug the knees into the chest. On inhale, open them wide, let the knees move towards the bottom of your mat, then knees towards the armpits and hug in. So you go wide and knees forward, so you get a rock on the sacrum, knees towards the armpits, hugging in. One more time like that. And on the next exhale, hugging the knees into the chest. If you need any final movements before you come into Shavasana, feel free. Otherwise, arrive. Feeling all the tingling and sensations in the body, the space in the mind and brain. Even as the mind goes quiet, you honor the space in the mind and the lightness of the body, of the sensations, creating the slight energetic lift while the physical body stays heavy. Gently allowing awareness to drift back into the breath and eventually into the body, inviting some movements back into the body. Letting your hips sway a little from side to side like you're reaching out one foot and the other, creating a little bit of fluidity. Letting your body move a little more until you're ready to roll onto your right side, taking a few breaths on the right side. Using both hands to push yourself up to any comfortable seated position. Feel free to sit on a prop even a rolled up blanket or a rolled up mat so that it's easier to sit upright. Resting in any position that's comfortable for your hands. On your inhale, up the central axis of the spine all the way through the crown of the head, keeping that internal lift as the body softens down onto the support below. Internal lift, inhaling up the inner spine. Keep that inner lift as you let the body drip off that internal support. Hands can stay where they are or come to heart center in Anjali Mudra. May there be seeds of peace, and may all beings be at peace. Namaste.